You're a shill. You're a paid shill. This feels really shilly. Potato McShilsky. What people mean, what they really mean when they say this, is that they don't like what I'm saying. And rather than simply disagreeing with me, it must be that I am being paid to have a different opinion. That Firaxis and 2K has these financial little tubes that they're filling me up with all these coins. The fact that I have a vested interest in Civilization 7 doing well means that I'm biased. Despite the fact that they never actually established that I have a vested interest in the success of Civilization 7 as a fact, it's just taken at face value to be true. Of course, if people were actually honest and they knew anything about the work that I do, or even how the industry works, they would know that first of all, it is literally illegal and against existing guidelines to be paid for coverage and to not disclose it. By the way, this is not just if you are given money to produce content. Literally, okay? Literally, if I accept a game key, the legal and ethical guidelines recommend that every single piece of content I produce for that game should contain an ad disclosure. That means, if I were to accept a key for Civilization 7, every single video I would ever produce on Civilization 7 would have to have #ad in the title. This is why, of course, I actually bought a copy of the game for myself, and only used the free key that I received for the purpose of pre-release footage and access to the press build of the game for research. By the way, this level of ad disclosure is not only uniquely true for people covering things on social media, but especially true of YouTube. When products and services are endorsed and advertised in traditional media, the legal requirements for compliance are way more relaxed. If you'd like to learn more about just how messed up the legal and ethical disparity between people like me and the actual news and TV organizations are, Tom Scott's video, YouTubers Have to Declare Ads, Why Doesn't Anyone Else, is a great starting point for you to becoming slightly more informed. I would also highly recommend reading through the description of that video and reading the sources, as they will contribute to you becoming more informed. I don't think anyone who has called me an undisclosed paid shill are ever going to update their personal understanding of the level of insane detachment from reality and ignorance of the facts that is required to make that accusation. For people who do care at all, I'm going to address these accusations with evidence. Firstly, there is no evidence that I have been paid to cover any of Firaxis or 2K's games without disclosure. I have been paid a handful of times to play Civilization 6, all of which I disclosed. I have been paid to make content for that game. I started getting paid like once a year, approximately 6+ years after the game had come out, and I had been playing the game and building my YouTube channel for those 6+ years. I don't think anyone is going to begrudge me for getting paid a little bit of extra money to do something I was already doing, considering the game was 6 years old and I had already produced thousands of videos for it. The problem is, however, every time I address these accusations, these points, the arguments morph and change in real time. Now, instead of being a paid shill, it's a quid pro quo agreement with Firaxis and 2K, where I know if I maintain a good relationship with them, the more money will come down the line. Okay, let me tell you right now. First of all, I don't give a fuck. I will burn that bridge just for fun, okay? Second of all, I make so much money from YouTube ad revenue that I have turned down thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to cover shitty products, shitty games, and participate in shitty events. I wish I could tell you that it's because I am a supremely ethical being levitating above earthly possessions, but no. It's actually because I am intensely lazy and all I want to do is play video games and make fun videos about them, so I rarely even accept sponsorships for games that I'm not already going to make a video on. And a lot of the time, the only reason I accept those sponsorships is in months where the ad revenue is low, so I don't have to take a pay cut or give a pay cut to my editors. But because you fuckers don't know anything about me, instead of playing video games and making fun videos, here I am writing up a fucking video about ethics in video game journalism, and it's 10 years on from 2014. I do have what I consider to be an ethical floor. It's a very, very simple set of rules, okay? It's what I call the bare minimum, okay? First of all, the product that I am being paid to advertise cannot be harmful to my audience or anyone who witnesses my endorsement. I must research and understand the product well enough to be able to talk about it. I must be willing to endorse and use the product whether or not I would be willing, whether or not I would be paid to do it. And that's why I don't cover mobile games with shitty microtransactions or predatory microtransactions that monetize FOMO or all these things. It's why I don't do any game like that. I just blanket, nope, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars a year I just don't get because I have ethics. And you fucking bet I don't get credit for that, okay? I get no credit for that. Do you know how easy it would be to milk the teat of Raid Shadow Legends, okay? I could have multiple houses. I could be porking your mom wearing a gold suit, okay? Those are my personal ethical guidelines. And let me tell you, there is a reason I call that the ethical floor, because there are fuckers out here doing crypto scams, mental health services that they've done zero research on, dietary supplements that they've done zero research on. They be hawking that shit to their audience, and I don't think they've passed that ethical floor. They saw a fat bag and they took the sponsorship, and well, that's just what you do on YouTube. Believe me, if I dropped this ethical floor, I would make, retire at 30 levels of money from hawking bullshit scammy products. I could drop a crypto coin on you fuckers and retire to a tropical island with your mom, but you're not getting rid of me that easy, fuckos. Now, I got an email from a company that wanted to advertise investing in fine art. And they have all these beautiful ads and all this other stuff. I even saw another gaming YouTuber have this invest in fine art in the middle of their videos as an integrated ad. I'm like, first of all, what the fuck do you know about investing? Because what the fuck do I know about investing? And I know that I don't know much about investing. I put all my money into Google because I'm like, YOLO bitches, let's ride that fucking train. My entire retirement fund is in a technology index fund. I am the most undiversified investor in human history. Do not follow my advice, okay? I'm going to be posted in Wall Street Bets 5 years from now at minus 95% when the next .com bubble comes, okay? So why the fuck do they think I'm the right person to get investing advice from? And second of all, what the fuck do I know about fine art? What the hell? Listen, okay? When I step back and I start thinking about these things, it does get my blood boiling, but we're here to address the specific accusations. Okay, we're getting off script here, and we're here to address the fact that people are saying I'm here to address the accusation that I've been paid to shill for Firaxis and 2K. Okay, there's just one problem with that accusation. I have actively turned down payment to cover Civilization 7. In late 2024, I was offered money to create a monthly news recap for Civilization 7. I initially accepted this offer. However, I ended up turning it down and not delivering on that project for two main reasons. Firstly, I was feeling quite down during the latter quarter of 2024 due to personal mental health reasons. Mostly my depression and anxiety was at its yearly peak. Secondly, I decided to turn down the money because I wanted to maintain my independence and integrity as a voice for the community. Judging by my comments, however, I should have just taken that money because it's not like I'm getting any credit for it. In the video right now is the screenshot of my conversation from January 6th with the person managing the paid campaigns I was supposed to be participating in, and here you can clearly see me talking about my depression. You can also clearly see me stating that I wanted to avoid the impression of being a paid shill for 2K and Firaxis. I reiterate that my independence is important to me, since a lot of my brand trust and power is in people regarding my opinion as genuine and informed. I also go on to lay out the kind of things that I am willing to work on in a paid manner, such as gameplay previews, either as video or live streams, because again, that is the sort of thing I am going to do anyway, and I do not believe it compromises my integrity to get paid a little bit extra to do something I was already going to do. The same logic applies to tutorials, non-opinion information content, and interviews. When it comes to on-location shoots, I asked for payment for myself and for my travel to be covered because when I'm traveling, I cannot work, and I would not be traveling for an event otherwise. That's why, for example, I was paid to do the Civ World Summit, as it required travel and prevented me from working. But I have not been paid to produce a single video on my own channel for Civilization 7 as of yet. So there you go. I have addressed the accusation of being a paid shill using evidence and logic. Facts don't care about your feelings. However, I don't think it will matter that I have addressed this because again, The people aren't calling me a paid shill because they have some kind of evidence of me breaking some kind of ethical line. They are calling me a paid shill because they simply want to shout boo at me. I've recently discovered the concept of emotivist philosophy, and now I see it everywhere. If you're not familiar with emotivism, it's a meta-ethical view that claims that ethical statements don't actually propose some sort of logical, coherent position, but rather that ethical claims are simply expressions of emotional positions and attitudes. That's why it's called the hurrah boo theory. Under the theory of emotivism, people saying that I'm a paid shill are just saying boo at me because they don't like what I'm saying. They are expressing, they don't like what I'm saying. They are expressing an emotional reaction to my words, and nothing has ever made me take the red pill on a meta-ethical philosophical theory faster than covering Civilization VII's launch, which is an objectively insane sentence that I even have to write and then now speak out loud. Now, even though I have actively covered the evidence and addressed the accusations of people calling me a paid shill, you will still find arguments in the comment section of this very video from people who commented before watching the whole thing, arguing that I am biased because I benefit from the game succeeding. Of course, if these people knew anything about what being biased means, or having a bias means, they wouldn't be accusing me of having a bias, they would be asking me what biases do I have and what steps do I take to mitigate my personal bias when it comes to Civilization VII. Everyone is biased, which is why when someone says, I'm not biased, I review the facts and I make my own opinion, that is like the biggest red flag and bold-faced lie in the universe to me. Nobody does that. It's straight up a lie. Even the most well-read, best-researched people in the world will probably sit down and admit to some biases and then try to explain how they mitigate them. That's what you do. That's what you do with a bias. Before I address this Ouroboros of shapeshifter changeling of an argument, I want to point out how frustrating and unfair it is to be called a paid shill because it's an incredibly inflammatory accusation to which I have provided evidence against and defended myself from multiple times, and watched as the argument against me morphs in real time to something much more nuanced and difficult to address without anyone ever acknowledging the fact that I already addressed an incredibly inflammatory and damaging accusation. And I am probably owed an apology by a lot of fucking people. People will literally call me a shill, and then when I prove I'm not a shill, they won't apologize for saying such insane shit. The world is wild, dude, okay? So here are the biases that people have accused me of having in favor of the game. I did not pay for the game, and so therefore I am biased. I have a relationship with the developer, and so therefore I am biased. I financially benefit from promoting the game, both through views on YouTube, affiliate links, and paid sponsorships. As established earlier in the video, I bought the game for myself, so the first point of bias is relatively easy to discard. I do think a more reasonable point of bias here is I make enough money that purchasing the game does not impact me. It is like, who cares? I'm going to make money from it. Yeah, that's probably a reason you should be critical of my opinion. Like, that's actually reasonable. The second point is a little bit harder to address. Yeah, it's hard to shit on people who you like, right? Whose work you like and who you like being around. But the way that I address that bias is by avoiding having strong emotional connections with people who work on the game or at the publisher. I'm happy to be friendly with those people at events, and I'm happy to work with them on projects, but I specifically go out of my way to avoid developing deeper friendships or relationships with them because it would negatively affect my ability to cover the game. To be clear, some people who work on the game I would consider to be closer to friends than acquaintances. However, I wouldn't feel comfortable slothing them into my inner circle of ride or dies because it would complicate both of our abilities to work. Me on these videos, them on the game itself. The third point can be addressed in two ways. Firstly, I think I have effectively demonstrated that in fact, when it comes to getting views on YouTube, it is way more profitable for me from a views perspective to make videos shitting on the game, especially considering whenever I say anything remotely positive about the game, the number of people who come out of the woodwork to shit on me and the game is insane, okay? Do you understand the kind of personality and mental fortitude that it requires to be able to weather that storm and stick to your guns? There are people out here who will get a single person disagreeing with them and they will crumble, okay? I'm made of harder stuff. That's why your mom likes me. Now, also consider that the negative review got 50% more views than the review where I praise the game, okay? So I would financially benefit from shilling against the game. I would be better off financially if I was an inverse shill, okay? So it's literally just not true. But yes, I do financially benefit from the game's success, which is why I don't tell people to buy the game. I tell people to make their own decisions based on their own situation. Only you know how much money you have. Only you know how much you're going to play Civilization. Only you know how much you want the game right now. I cannot make that decision for you. You can go literally look at all of my live streams on Civilization 7 where people ask me if they should buy the game, and I consistently tell them to make their own purchasing decisions because I'm biased and I don't know their own personal situation. The exception is the one time that I got so mad at being asked the question so much that I told everyone in my live stream that they should go into debt to buy the game and use my affiliate link like the good little pay piggies that they are. And you know what? There's another thing, okay? Before we go anywhere, I want to address another weird as fuck conspiracy theory about me. I have been accused of some kind of Humankind debacle and a review of the game. People feel like I told them to buy the game and they got burnt at that game. First of all, I never produced a review video for Humankind. I literally don't do reviews. I think I can count the number of reviews that I have produced for this channel on one hand. I make gameplay videos. Secondly, I'm sorry that you got burnt on Humankind. And I'm sorry that if it was my video that convinced you to buy the game. I was initially really excited about the game and the hours I poured into that game, and I provided feedback to developers only to end up hating the game because the game, first of all, never really got good updates, and it ended up having fundamental problems baked into its gameplay decisions that happened really early into development that could never be addressed. Listen, I'm sorry if my initial excitement at Humankind got you to buy the game and you had a bad time with it, but like, don't make up this thing about me. I never made a review. It just didn't happen. Okay? I'm sorry. I didn't have enough time to hate the game sooner. I'm sorry. Anyway. I love you all very much. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.